I was in Dallas and Taylor was in Austin. We actually met up for the first time. So we had been selling the software, I think, for about 6 or 7 months before we met face to face, which was kind of fun. And then I was just trying to slowly get Taylor to come on board full time, but I wasn't full time. I was still just part time. The job with that accounting firm lasted about 10 months. It was agonizing and not fun. And I remember my only time to work on YNAB was early in the morning. So I'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'd work on it till 5. I'd go to the gym, and then I'd come home. Julie'd go to the gym. I'd get ready. She'd come home. I'd go to work. I'd get home from work at 10 or sometimes even worse. The hours were atrocious there. And so I had these guys. At this time, I kind of had more of an internet marketing savvy from my own experience. And so I had these guys basically hire me as a consultant, and I came back to Utah to work for them, and then was also doing YNAB on the side. The hours were better working with them, and I was able to devote more toward YNAB. That was in May of '07. And then in June of, then I worked for an entire year on YNAB and finally got Taylor to come on full time. That was June of '08. So Taylor's been with us now 2 years, and all of basically 2009, we worked on YNAB 3 and kind of rebuilt it from the ground up. And in the meantime, I feel like I've gotten a little smarter with how to do things and how to market. I still feel a lot of times like I shouldn't be driving, like I don't know. I feel like I don't know so much, but you just take every day, and just kind of see what happens, and you just try and do the best you can. I've noticed that as we just really focus on customers and customer service and being friendly and just, this sounds totally cliche, but just being the business that you would want to interact with as a customer, that people really responded well. Our biggest sales team is our customers, and they tell people about the software all the time, and so we're able to grow just with word of mouth, and that's been absolutely fantastic. A couple things I wanted to just maybe share. This is extremely long for Whiteboard Wednesday, but someone asked for it, so the one thing is, make sure that when you're starting a small business or you have an idea, try and make money first. Like, sell a customer on a product that's not quite finished. Sell someone on a service where you're not quite comfortable. You can always give money back, you know what I mean? So sell someone on a service where you're maybe not quite comfortable totally delivering what you promise. It'll stretch you a little bit. And if you can't do it, you just give the money back. It's fine, you're kind of taking putting yourself out there. But make money first, and a lot of times when people think about business, they think of all of these other supporting actors in this play, and instead of thinking about like the main problem that you're solving with your business and your customers and your sales. So people want to just kind of play, I call it playing business, where your first thought is, what do I name my company? Well, no one cares what you name your company. How do I organize my company? LLC, S Corp, C Corp, Sole Proprietor. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter yet. So do that all later, much later. Don't worry about it. How do I keep track of all my books? And this is coming from an accountant, former CPA, recovering, selling software that does bookkeeping. And what I'm telling you is, do not worry about that for a while, because you're focusing on the wrong thing. You're focusing on all these other things that are easy, because selling is the hardest part for most small business owners. So you focus on, how can I invoice people, before you actually have people to invoice? Or how can I keep track of all the funds when you have no funds, right? So bring in the money first, make some sales. And that's I kind of feel like I did that in a way, because I didn't really have like a full grasp of Excel when I launched it. I didn't have a full grasp of website copy, of website design. The first designs were so ugly. I had no experience with that at all. And it was ugly, unprofessional, just kind of a hack job, but it made a little bit of money, and it gave me enough confidence to keep things going. And that's what you want to do with this small business. You're doing an experiment, and you want to get to be able to prove your hypothesis as fast as possible. So to do that, you want to sell immediately, right away. You go start talking with potential customers. don't worry so much about all this other stuff. My dad is an attorney, and he says in his office these ladies set up, they were going to be this kind of firm to basically assist attorneys, like this group. They got all set up in this office. Their first mistake was having an office. Okay, you don't need one for a while. They had mugs. They had mouse pads. They had prescribed break times during the day, like they were all of a sudden some big corporation. They did all these things that were so frivolous in comparison to actually going to attorneys and selling them their services. And of course they went under. It was just only a matter of time. I hope they didn't borrow money to do all that stuff. They probably did. Ship as fast as you can. So when you have a product or service, start with the bare minimum and pitch the bare minimum, and you'll find a group of your customers where a subset of that group wants just that bare minimum. A bunch of people, a whole bunch of people in this world do not want a spreadsheet to manage their finances. But there's this small sliver of people, and it's a profitable sliver if you run really lean, where they do. So a spreadsheet works for them, and that's what we did. So we got this spreadsheet first, and then we said, well, hey, there's a bigger subset that will run an app, like a Windows app. So we get there, and then with YNAB 3, we said, well, hey, what about Mac and Linux? Okay, and then we launched the iPhone app because we're saying, hey, there's a bunch of people originally from this one little sliver of an offering. We're now doing an iPhone app and we're on the road to an Android app. I'm going to say that. Anyway, so you can start your service offering at just the bare minimum. A dog walker, you just say, I walk dogs. I do it for an hour. I just walk the dogs. Then later on you can say, you know what? After I'm done walking your dog, I also wash the dog. So, okay. And you know what? I actually do grooming as well. But this is all there's a group, there's a subset of these people that need their pets walked that just want the dog walked. And then there's maybe a larger group that say, well, I kind of want more, I want the dog to be washed as well. Okay. And I want the dog to also be, trimmed or whatever. Okay. And so you start picking it up. But to get started, you don't have to offer the whole thing, because that'll mean that you're developing this service for such a long time that you never actually ship and you never sell. So people will use the building of the product and the conception of the service, all this thinking about what will we offer, and what will this product do, and what will its features be. They build it out to such a large, in their minds, a large customer base that they never ship. Because you can always, always, always add one more thing, push it out a little further. So ship as fast as you can. Ship with the absolute bare minimum. We did this with the iPhone app, and I'll admit, Taylor and I both we're getting thicker skin from